Oh, all right, my friends. I've got like a block left, so we'll get it started. We're not going to REI. Trying to spend money. All right, so we're gonna hang tight before we watch the car. So tonight, before we have Miss Natalie take over the mic and do her thing, I just wanted to give a couple quick updates and introduce her, and then I'm gonna let her. So first of all, guys, there are a couple different things happening this month, so make sure that you're really connected into the team page for that. But one of which is the sale for Daily Sunshine. It is on sale this month. So if you've got moms, or if you've never tried it before and you want to, maybe pause it for a second and then dive into Daily Sunshine. Sorry, I'm going to mute everybody real quick. If you want to go ahead and do that this month, that is a great opportunity since there's a discount for that. The other thing happening this month, they also brought the Summit ticket down again as well to $155. So if you are on the fence about attending Summit, it's going to be a lot of fun. We already have our house, our Airbnb set up. So all you need to do is get your Summit ticket and a flight to get there to Indianapolis. So check that out. And the sampler, they've got a new variety sampler this month that has basically everything. You get Daily Sunshine, you get Shakeology, you get Vegan Shakeology, and you get the Performance line. I believe you get 10 of the Energize and 10 of the Hydrate. And so it's a really great pack for you to have on hand, not only for you to try things that maybe you've never tried, but also to give away, either as giveaways for people in challenge groups or as samples if people are wanting to try something before they actually buy the whole thing. So check that out as well. Those are basically the announcements. Success Club prize this month is for me is a copy of Girl Wash Your Face. So whenever you hit Success Club this month, I will send that your way. It's a really awesome book. I already finished it and loved it. And then from Beachbody, there's that t-shirt that I shared. So it's the top of the month, you guys. You've got so much time to help people and make an impact. And I just know that your hearts are all in that right place. So you just actually have to get out there and then invite, right? Invite to stuff. So we're going to talk tonight, though, about stuff that gets in the way sometimes and why sometimes we get to the end of the month and we're like, I didn't move my business forward. Or I didn't move the needle forward. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be business. It could be your life. It could be the way you view your own success. It could be the goals that you're setting for yourself in your self-care. It could be all of that stuff. But Natalie is going to take it away and talk about the excuses that are holding us back. I'm super excited to get to learn all about this with you tonight. So Natalie, go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm going to mute myself and I'll let you go.
Thank you very, very much. All right, I'm going to share the screen with you guys. Okay. Let's see, hold on. Here we are. Okay, so excuses. This has been big for me since I started Beachbody as a coach back in October, because I feel like I let every little thing in life get in the way, like totally do. But first, like I have this definition and I put it on my mirror of an excuse. So an excuse is our validation for why something didn't happen. So at the end of the day, when I sit here and think, oh my gosh, I had like no conversations, or oh my gosh, I don't have anybody else added to my team, I like validate that with whatever I did that day just to make an excuse to make it okay in my mind and my heart, which is not okay and it's not acceptable at all. And I found myself doing it a lot last month, terribly. Like I would even like say, Natalie, like, what is your deal? What is your problem? So when Brittany asked me to talk to you guys, I'm like, this has been on my heart. This has been on my mind and a struggle for me. So I'm like, this is it. Like, no doubt, this is what I need to talk about. So, like I said, excuses happen and I find myself falling into them often, like daily. And I'm a homeschool mom, so I'm at home. And because of that, most people assume you're home all day. Like you can do anything you want. You have time to get everything done. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't do this. Well, because I'm a homeschool mom, my children are with me 90% of the time. So if you have children, you know, children are needy, needy, needy. So every time I'm out of the room or away from them, it's mom, 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 where are you? Where are you? So it's a constant little thing. So we have school, we have field trips, play dates, and just entertainment just to keep them, because they're children. They want to do things. They don't want to just sit here and watch me on my computer, right? So I have to entertain them. But I will say on Tuesday afternoons, my mother-in-law or my mom gets them. They take turns, which is amazing. So that will give me like 2 hours that I can do what I need to do, whether it's like grocery shopping, meal planning, take my power hour, which I always try to get my power hour in when I don't have them. That way I can focus. And so that's amazing that I get those few hours on Tuesdays. Also, so I'm a homeschool mom and I'm my husband's secretary. This is a huge struggle for me. I love it, but my expectations are, his expectations of me are super, super high. So when he calls and wants me to do something, he wants me to stop and he wants me to do it right then, which, I mean, so I guess that's the way it should be. I should be a submissive wife. You know, that's just how life is. And then he's in the process of starting his second business. So it's even more excitement and even more things to do. So next, I am a children's director at our church. This is my 5th year being our children's director. So I'm always doing something. We have parties all the time. I have Awana every Wednesday night, which is a huge deal. Awana is very big. I have Vacation Bible School every year. So I get a little bit of time off between each one before I start planning again. Volunteer shifts to coordinate because I have volunteers for my Sundays. Sunday classes to get ready, volunteer meetings to plan and conduct. And so this is like being a children's director is a paid job. So I have to seriously show out. Like, it's not working for my husband or with my kids. Like, I have to seriously do the job. They're paying me. And then I'm a tutor. My boys do co-op on Tuesday. So I'm a tutor on Tuesday mornings from 8 to 12. So that takes preparation and more of my time to get everything together, get my board ready, get my games ready, things like that. And then I'm a coach, same as all of you, I'm a coach. So I get phone calls when someone's like, oh, what do I need to eat this week? Or, oh my gosh, I went over and I had a cheat, or so my husband's gone, or I need, you know, just there's things all the time that happen. And then being a friend, you get the same thing. You get those phone calls and you're like, oh my gosh, I would say I'll call you back, but you're in a crisis. So let me stop what I'm doing and let me talk to you. And I find myself doing these things often. And then I'm trying to expand my team. I want in my heart so bad to grow my own team. So then I want to do that. So then that's tugging at my heartstrings as well. So then I'm a wife. Aside from homeschooling, aside from my husband's business, I'm a wife. So when my husband gets home, he's like, well, I've been gone all day. So why don't you sit down and watch TV with me? Why are you on your computer? Just get off your computer and let's talk. Well, to me, he's home so he can entertain the boys and then I can focus on my business and what I need to do. So this is a huge juggling thing for me right now, just to get it all figured out and how to make everybody happy. And then the boys, I mean, I teach them, but I need to be a mom that's not a teacher all the time. I need to be the nurturer and the story time reader at night and things like that, not just a teacher. So with all of those things, once I do get time to myself, I'm just like, I sit in my favorite Vera Bradley blanket and my robe usually, and I just sit. And then when I get that time, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll talk to those people tomorrow. Like, I'll message her back tomorrow. And I've got to stop doing that. Like, I have come to the realization that I'm doing it. And I guess the first step is to recognize you have a problem. I'm there. So I've just got to stop making excuses. I've got to just sit down in my chair, cover it with my blanket, and message these people back. Send those invites. Start those combos. Don't just sit in the chair and just be done. I can keep working while I'm in my chair. So for my day, I'll take you through my day. So most days I wake up at 6, except on CC days on Tuesday, I have to wake up at 5 so I can get my workout in. So I'll wake up at 6, have my breakfast, work out from 7 to 8, shower. And while I work out, I have the boys already getting their breakfast and getting themselves dressed. So we start school between 8:30 and 9ish. I prefer 8:30, just because some days can be rougher than others. And then 8:39 we start school, and then we usually do school till 1 or 1:30, depending how our day goes. Today was rough. Math took 3 hours. It was just one of those days, and the boys have days just like we have days. Some days it's just, I don't want to do this, and it was just a Monday. And then my oldest child, most people don't know this, but my oldest child has dyslexia, which inevitably makes us do school longer. It's slower paced. So that does take more time. In some of our days. And today, one of those days was he was struggling with math. And so we did school till about 2:00. And then after that, we always get a coffee break. We always get out of the house a minute, run down to my local coffee shop, get a coffee, chit chat there for a few minutes and come on back home, or run errands if we have errands to run for my husband. It just depends. And then afternoons, we have Tuesdays afternoons at 4, we have archery. Wednesdays we have Jax has drum lessons, and then we have Awana. So those 2 evenings are pretty much shot, except archery. I do some power hour stuff during archery. And then dinner at 6:30, and then by that time I'm toast. I'm ready to go to bed, which I have been giving into that, and I've got to stop. I've got to continue those conversations. I've got to start those conversations, and I've got to start those comments. I can sit in my chair with my blanket and work. I keep telling myself that because it's got to happen. All right. Do not validate your excuses by continuing to be trapped in them. And this is what I'm doing, ladies. I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to continue in it if you are, because I can let these daily tasks become excuses. They're just part of life. We all live life, right? And I tell the girls on my team this, like, we can't let life get in the way. And I'm the coach doing the same exact thing. I don't like it. It's not okay for me. So what's important to me is realizing the negative impact these excuses have on my business and on my life before it becomes such a bad habit I cannot break it or stop it. Okay? I do not want to validate my excuses. I do not want to say, okay, that's fine. I'll pick up on it tomorrow. No, I want to know, Natalie, this is wrong. You need to stop. You can take this hour and get it done. And I find myself feeling sorry for myself, which pity is the worst. Not that I compare. I'm not going to say that because I've gotten a hold of the comparison. But again, the devil will attack you and bring you into that. But I will feel sorry for myself that, like, I could be like her if I just had 1 more minute, or I could have all those people if I had like 5 more minutes in my day. Well, you know what? We all have the same 24 hours. So I'm feeling sorry for myself, and that's not okay. And then I put myself in a bad mood, and everybody knows how it is. When mom's in a bad mood, the day is over, right? And it's not fair. It's not fair to my family that I let these excuses on my shoulders hold me down to where I can't do anything else for the day because I'm just mad. I'm grumpy and I'm just over it. So we can't let them become excuses because, I mean, we all have things we have to do every day, and it's just part of life. I mean, I have to keep telling myself that it's part of life. Then I don't have time. I cannot tell you how many times a day I say this. I don't have time. Again, we all have the same amount of time, right? So this is huge for me. So when I think about my days, some days, especially like tonight when I go to bed and I'm thinking about tomorrow, I will have a mini panic attack before I even put my head on my pillow tonight. Like, it's just the way I'm wired, but I'm trying to rework that so that I can just take a deep breath and know tomorrow's going to be okay. Tomorrow I can get it all done. So I just get overwhelmed before I even get to the point of starting. And I have to learn to take control of my time by prioritizing it. That's going to be huge. And I've started. I bought this awesome calendar that has daily tasks in it that I can check off. And nothing is greater for me than that. Like, it's been the best. And to remember, I don't have a time problem. I have a priority problem, right? I should focus on my boys' school. After that, shorten that coffee time just a little bit. Run in there, get that coffee, run out, and get back home. I don't have to go sit in there for 30 minutes and talk to everybody that walks through the door. That's a priority problem, right? Yes. All right. And then as a business owner, I must realize the outcome of what I want and prioritize the places to focus my time on. Um, I just have to prioritize. And everybody says it's not as hard as it may seem. Well, it seems quite daunting to me, like daunting. But I have tried. Sundays, Brittany posted it, and then I happened to do it the same day, but I saw it after she did it. A Sunday well spent brings a week of content. That really hit home with me. So with my snazzy calendar, I have been planning out my week and writing down what I need to check off for each day. Like, no matter, it's going to be checked off. So I'm trying to be more mindful of how I'm going to spend my time. So before the week even starts, I'm like in my mind, all right, Natalie, this is what's going to happen. So I'm becoming more aware of when I'm wasting my time. I find myself, which not like I used to, because now I'd rather do other things, but the pointless scrolling, that used to be so huge for me. So I would just be sitting here wasting my time scrolling through instead of being productive. I could have been messaging back the people that liked my comment, my post, the people that watched my story, but instead mindlessly scrolling, accomplishing nothing, wasting time. And so creating a schedule has helped me gain control and be more in control of my days, my hours, all the way down to the minutes, just by simply creating that schedule on Sunday. So with this schedule, we can schedule our priorities. So for me to stay on track, like I said with my calendar, it'll have your weekly task, and then you can break it down to your daily task. I'm able to mark off my task. I am very much a visual person. Like, I have got to see it. My husband can explain something to me, or Jaden, he loves to explain things that are in his mind that he's going to build. Sounds amazing, but I don't understand it. I have to see it. So when I check those marks off, I'm like, yes, this is amazing. I feel amazing. But I've had those days where I've checked nothing off. And that feeling is terrible. That feeling is just like you feel bad for yourself. It's just like a pit you fall into. And knowing that feeling pushes me to stay on track. It pushes me to be more productive and to get those tasks marked off. And like I said, I'm very, very visual. If you tell me, I'm going to hear you because I'm listening, but it's going to go in one ear and it's going to go out the other. If I don't see it, I'm done. I have got to see it, and I've got to be able to write on it. I've got to be able to mark on it, make my notes on it. I've got to encourage myself with it. That's just how I am. I have got to have it in my face. So if I see it, like the goal, see the end result, and what I want, I'm able to focus more. I'm able to get to that goal. I'm able to say, okay, I have these 4 things I've got to do by 2:00 today. You know what? I'm going to get those 4 things done because it's in my face and it's a goal that I can mark off, right? So, and sometimes I might not reach that time mark just because, like I said today, math took way longer than normal, but I get it done and it happens. So some things like that, I've got to learn to be flexible because life is life again, but I need to get it done. And whatever I'm doing, I've got to give it 100% focus. When I first started this, I was so excited. So I would be doing school with the boys, but on my Instagram, couldn't do it. I was getting frustrated with them, frustrated with myself because I was getting nothing done. So I was like, okay, I'm done. Put the phone down. I'm not touching it until we're done with school. When we're done with school, I'll comment on the challengers. I'll go back and share my Instagram and whatnot. But I had to focus 100% on my boys to give them my time because I could not give them my time as well as the people I was trying to have conversations with. So that I had to give 100% focus. Okay. All right. And then I work so much better, like when I have shorter spans of focused attention, better than I do long spans. So like I said, with the boys, I would have 5 hours when we did school. Nothing got done. It was just a hot mess of 5 hours wasted because we were all upset because nothing was getting done with school because I wasn't focusing on them to give them the attention they need. Nothing got done with my Instagram or Facebook because I was not giving that the full attention it needed. So I learned, if I focus on my school with my boys, I'm done in 5 hours. If I focus on my Instagram and Facebook, an hour or 2, done with that. Like whatever you're doing, give it your 100% focus And it's amazing how much further you'll get with it. All right. So, and for us, that's hard because females like to multitask. I do. I'm like, oh, I got this. I can do it. Just watch me go. Wrong. So I can, but it's just our nature. But when I'm doing one thing, I'm always thinking, okay, what do I need to get from the store? What do I need to get for dinner? What's next on my to-do list? There's like a constant cycle of thoughts. But the more I try and the more conscious I am of it, the more I can give 100% to whatever it is that I'm doing. All right. And then without that 100%, no one wins. I'm not setting boundaries that get me the best of both worlds. Like I said, the boys are miserable. No schoolwork's done. And nothing has been done with my business. I'm just sitting here spinning my wheels. So now, like I said, I strictly devote my mornings to my boys. After my workouts, I shower. I'm theirs until 1:30. As far as my business, the afternoons are when I can focus on it. So after I'm done with my errands or book work, whatever my husband needs to the bank, whatnot, that's my time to work on my business when we get back home. And Brittany recently shared an app with, I don't remember who else she shared it with, but it's amazing for my power hour. Oh my word. 30/30 is the app. You can enter your to-do list for your power hour, add the amount of time you want to take per thing on your to-do list, and having that 1 hour divided into small bits is amazing. It is just amazing. When you sit down and you're like, okay, I have these 8 things to do in 1 hour. Oh my, it sends my head spinning. But with this app, you tell it how long you want to spend. So if you're not as big on Facebook, like for me, I have shorter amounts of time on Facebook because I have more communication and following through my Instagram. So majority of my time goes to Instagram. So this app has been amazing as far as that, because I don't sit down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. No, I can sit down. I can know what I'm doing. I can think it through, and then my hour's done like that. But I mean, I feel like I just started and my timer is already going off. It's amazing. So having your time dedicated to certain things, just 100% focus, whatever you're doing, focus on that only. Don't worry about what's coming. Don't worry about what's happening. Just like Autumn says in our workouts, focus on what we're doing now. Don't dread the next workout. Don't dread what we just did. It's over, and focus on what we're doing now. That way you can, in your mind, give it all you can. So next slide. All right. Everything is important. I think I probably should have already done that one. Here we are. Everything is important. This is how I think, but it's not true. Everything is not created equal. I'm making myself learn to prioritize and delegate. So creating a hierarchy of activities that need to be done and the importance that they need to be done. So for instance, if I need to go do something for my husband versus going to the coffee shop, obviously I'm going to go do what he needs, right? So that's kind of the same thing. When I put my list into my calendar for my daily things, I start at the top with what's most important and work my way down. And then sometimes I want to add things to it that I'm like, oh, I should probably do that before that, but I listed it in the wrong order. I'll number them. That way when I sit back down to look at it later, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I meant by that. It's all numbered. I don't like to guess later when I see it, because then I can't deal. All right. So as an adult in a crazy busy world, we're all in high demand. We're wives, we're mothers, we work, boyfriends, girlfriends, spouses. That's just life, right? And there are certain things that only I can do as a mom. There are certain things that only I can do as a wife. I can't delegate that to anyone else, right? And like tutoring my class at CC, my husband can't do that. So I'm the only one that can do that. I'm the only one that can study for that. That's my job. I'm the only one that can homeschool my boys. My husband could, but it would be a train wreck. So I'm the only one that can teach my boys. But then it comes down to, I'm not the only one who can do the laundry. I'm not the only one that can empty the dishwasher. And I find myself doing these things and I'm like, wait a minute, I have 2 able boys. What am I doing? I mean, it makes me stop and like, oh, but that all comes down to me not being a good delegator. And I'm not. I am terrible at delegating. But that would allow me that extra 10, 15 minutes to put into my power hour that I need, right? I need those extra 15 minutes. They add up. Totally. That's like having a quarter. Oh my gosh, I got 4 quarters. Now I have $1. Same thing. Those 15, 10-minute increments are going to add up to an hour before I know it. So as far as delegating, as far as my boys, I don't feel bad asking them. But as far as like my church, asking people to do things like that, because it's a lot of responsibility to be over the whole children's ministry. So from nursery to 6th grade is my responsibility. That's quite a lot. And I'm not a good delegator. I feel terrible asking people to take their time to do what I feel like I should do. I'm just not good at it. My boys, though, I could delegate all day long and be fine. But with them, I have got some severe OCD buttons, and they push them. Every last one of them, they push them. And then when I'm like, okay, I'm going to let them go fold the laundry. And then if the towels are not folded 3 times, I can't deal. Like, all my towels had to be folded half and then 3 times. So then my OCD gets in. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to let them do it, why? Because I'm going to redo it. So that's my thought process, right? So I have to learn to take the steps back and just deal with what's important. Do what I can do and let them do the rest. And then everyone steals my time. So I'm the only one that can fill my calendar, right? I'm the only one who permits the disturbances to creep into my life. I'll allow things to happen. And so instead of saying no thanks when somebody asks me to do something or go here or go there, I'm like, oh, sure, I'll go. Why? I regret it later. But at that point, I'm like, oh, I cannot tell them no because they did this then, or I might need them to do that later. Wrong. Don't think that way. And then I'll say, sure, I'll bring my computer to the coffee shop and work. I don't. I talk. That's just what I do. That's what we all do, right? When we're around other people, that's what we're going to do. I have too many distractions and conversations going on to worry about pecking on that computer. So the best choice would be holding off until I was finished doing what I was doing, but I don't usually make those choices. So I've got to learn to say, no, thank you, maybe in a little bit, or maybe next time. And so being a business owner, like a business leader, like we are, that doesn't mean we have to give up on our activities and quit doing everything and just stay home. It just means that we need to determine what deserves our time, what we need to give our time to first, and then what we can do later. Okay. And then I have to do everything myself. Again, I hate giving up control. It's so hard for me. But micromanaging, I read this in a book. Micromanaging defeats the people around you, which is so true. I have seen it myself being the children's director at our church the last 4 years. If someone offers to help and you don't ever let them help, they're going to stop offering. It's just how it works. And they're going to feel like they're not good enough or they couldn't do it good enough. I don't want them to think that. And I don't want them to stop offering. So micromanaging is terrible. So I've had to learn to let that go. Make use of an able body to get what is done, needs to be done. I mean, if they're willing to help, let them. Delegating and not being so worried about perfection. That's me. I've had to learn the hard way. I'm sorry, guys. So fear-based leadership is saying you are the only one that can do the specific job. I would not want somebody to tell me, oh my gosh, you cannot do it well enough, so you're just not going to do it. No, but that's pretty much what I would be saying. So we need to be willing to mentor and guide others so they can develop the leadership skills and begin to have success alongside of us, not to take our spot, but to work alongside of us and help us out. And then the whole I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. When somebody says this, I instantly hear in my mind, it's not important to you. You just don't care. And I can say that because I think in my mind, like when my husband will say something, I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. Because I don't want to do it. It's not important to me. It's not something I need, right? So you will do what's a priority to you. So making excuses means that it's not a priority. So this is hard to say because it cuts to the heart of me, but it's true. There's no later when it comes to achieving our goals. We've got to work on them now. All right. Uh-oh, what did I do, guys? And then last slide. So our finish line is always moving. Our goals are always growing and changing. Like today, Britt hit a huge milestone, and now she has another one to work for, which is awesome. So having a solid work-life balance, it's not about a 50-50 split. it's about being 100% present in whatever you're doing. So when I'm working in my business, 100% there. When I'm doing school with my boys, 100% there. When I'm working for my husband, 100% there. That's what it's about, being 100% all about what you're doing at that time. All right. So something always is going to try to take your time away from what you want the most. That's just the devil. That's life. That's what's going to happen. So balance comes from focusing on quality over quantity. It is our duty to identify our excuses that steal our time. So wherever you are, be all there. Okay. So now I would like to ask you, what is one excuse that you use often that you find yourself thinking, oh my gosh, if I say this again, like we just can't do it. So I will take off the stop share. And now, I don't know how to unmute you guys. Maybe Britt can do it. Anyway, so an excuse that you guys use often. Oh, you're in the dark.
I'm in the car. I'm going to let you guys, because I want to wrap up here in a couple of minutes, and I want to go over or just say a couple of things that were like really big moments for me, big ahas, big takeaways. So go ahead, Mary, Leah, Rebecca, any excuses you find yourselves often sharing, you can unmute yourselves.
Always time. Always. But I think having a schedule and creating a schedule and committing to that schedule is what helps keep us on track, especially with the time thing. Because if we can plan it out ahead and plan for it, then barring any crazy pop-ups, we should be able to achieve everything.
Absolutely.
I think I'm very much like you, Natalie, in that I have to have my lists. I need to see that I cross things off, even if it's something as simple as I did the laundry, I did whatever. I want to see that line or that check mark there. I want to know that I did something. I think one of my biggest takeaways tonight was just be 100% there. I'm not. I do the same thing you do. I'll start this, and then 20 minutes later I'm doing something else, and then I'm doing something else, and I never get that one thing done. So that was, you were talking to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with Leah. Lack of focus has been a real highlight of the past couple months for me, because sometimes I think I've got it, and then it just takes so little for me to get distracted. And so focus is something I found out that I really, really need to work on. I've found some meditation techniques that might help, so I'm going to kind of experiment with that a little bit and see if it helps.
That's great. And you should share some of those on the team page too, any of those that you find, because obviously it sounds like, we're all kind of in the same, we all feel the same way, where it's like, okay, I've got to figure out how to schedule out my day or write down my list so that I'm maximizing my behaviors to align to my goals, essentially, right? It's not that we're not doing things throughout the day. It's just the behaviors aren't actually aligning to where we want to go. Natalie, you spoke to all of us tonight. I love how you shared about how you had power pockets of time in between certain things in your day, and you took us through that typical day of yours. You wear a million hats all week long. Don't know how you do it. It's awesome. But I love what she said. One of her hats that I don't know if you guys caught this, but one of her hats she said was, I'm a coach. Did you put ownership in that? And all of you, like all of us, we're all coaches, and she owns that. And that's part of the excuse making, is when you don't actually own your role. And so I loved that, Natalie. And I just love, last thing before we take our picture and get off of this, but I love how you said you don't have a time problem, that you have a priority problem. And I think that's a gut check we can all take. And I think we don't have to wait till the end of the month to take that gut check, or the end of the year. We can take that on a daily inventory basis so that we can make sure the next day we realign ourselves. So thank you so much, Natalie. That was so good.
So much.
Yeah. Okay, let me quick take a picture before we get cut off. So everybody fix your face. Fix your hair. All right. 3, 2, 1, cheese. All right. I love you, ladies. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing your wisdom tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you guys, or ladies. Thank you.
Good night, ladies.
Night,
Good
everyone.
night.